turned on, so if you talk, I got everything. I can hear you. Right, I think. There you go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglosh for the WDMA. We're going to be talking about the ANA today, which is almost the same except huge, big money-making machine from all the national advertisers of America, and but they have some good content, and Lisa Smith is a very, very big encourager of the show. So thank you for that, Lisa. And off we go to start. But first, we want to hear from Ryan Reynolds, who is opposed to the pumpkin spice takeover at this time of year. And for Aviation Gin, it's National Negroni Day. And then he gets to come back and say sorry.
It's come to my attention that pumpkin spice has quite a lot of fans and a powerful political lobby. So on behalf of Aviation American Gin, its parent company Diageo, we'd like to wholesale apologize for our previous commercial. Help me.
Help.
It's nearly fall.
Okay, so anyway. That must be a deal when he sold the company to Diageo. He must have made a deal that he would continue to do ads for them or something. Let's get to the backstory for a second. Okay, let's go over here. Okay, the flavor has become synonymous with fall, but the gin brand founder isn't sold on it. So I think they came up with Negroni Week. Actor Ryan Reynolds is making his feelings about pumpkin spice drinks very clear. Starbucks made pumpkin spice flavor popular starting in 2003. Is one of the most popular seasonal offerings. The spot comes from the actor's own agency, Maximum Effort. Okay, and I looked at a lot of ads today to get you something interesting, and this was probably one of the best ones. Okay, so we'll skip on to that. Okay, I touched on this study like a week ago, and another article went, oops, I don't know if I'm live or not. Let's try refreshing over here. I edit these things out in the podcast. So if you've ever tried the podcast, it's a little more cleaned up. Okay, so new ANA study shows marketers still favor email for direct ads, and this is from ANA Net. There's a subhead, but I couldn't find it either in Pocket or unless you go to the actual original. The subhead is really pretty good. Direct mail still leads ROI by a wide margin. Wouldn't you think that would be the number one thing to say about this study? It seems like it for me. Maybe this study says more about what marketers care about, which is popularity, than ROI. And this is one of the reasons we feel like posers, because many of us are posers. Many of us are worried more about doing the current shiny object than about making money for our companies. And that's, I think, always held back the direct mail since the invention of the internet. So email is king, it says. Most people use that. 82% has an 82% usage. Now, I don't know if if I'm doing a direct mail campaign, of course, for a client, I will email them the model, right? I'll email them the circulation. They'll email me the target circulation. I'll email them back. So we're using email, but I don't think that counts. I hope that's not what they're talking about. Do you use email? Okay, sure. In addition to Stack or whatever it's called. Stash, something. Social media came in at 74%. Okay, direct mail was only 38%. So if you think there's a big direct mail revival, this would suggest otherwise. Now this is this was published, this article is from 2022, and it was about a study in 2021. Email usage has declined 6% since the 2018 previous study. And social media went up 17% since the last study. But traditional methods, this is really funny. Talk about elliptical here. In terms of ROI, survey respondents indicated that while they certainly make use of modern technology in their direct marketing efforts, traditional methods such as sending messages in a letter-sized envelope via the U.S. Post Office can be remarkably effective. Doesn't that sound quaint? Talk about patronizing. You know, there's probably, well, we're going to get into it. I'm going to repeat my AI and why it works in mail and it doesn't work with any other medium. Okay? Just give you a heads up on that. Okay? But those who use this antiquated, old-fashioned U.S. Postal Service got a 112% ROI. Okay? Email was at 93%, which means that 121% means for every dollar spent, you get another dollar, basically. You get back $2 of EBITDA profit. That's the way I read it. Okay, I don't know. There so few marketers know how to calculate ROI. I don't trust this at all. But let's just say, okay, whereas email, for every dollar you put in, you get $1.93, which doesn't sound that big a difference, right? But it may not be that at all. It could be that what they mean is that for every dollar you get $1.12 and of EBITDA profit versus 93 cents, which means email costs you money every time you do it, which isn't the end of the world either if you're prospecting. Okay, but the point is I care more about how they calculate ROI than I care about who got what percent. I think this is funny. Letter size envelopes to prospect lists pulled 112%, whereas postcards to house file, now it depends on what that means. You know, that could be lead follow-up. It doesn't have to be customers. Pulled 92% ROI. Okay, so that's in line with email. And is that each email or is that an email campaign? It would be hard to believe that it would be each email because the readership is so small on email. This important study demonstrates that traditional forms of direct marketing continue to be powerful engines for accelerating brand growth, according to Bob Leotis. I don't know how to pronounce Bob's last name. I've heard him speak before. The findings will help marketers plan and optimize their marketing mix and drive sustainable long-term growth. Okay, you'd think that, right? But the survey respondents also said overall they plan to increase their use of email, paid search, social media, and SMS, but nobody said they were going to increase their use of mail, which tells you something. There were 1,200 responses, more B2C than, B2C campaigns were the most frequent type, followed by B2C. That must be a typo. Okay, it must be B2B. I don't know which. It's hard to say. They got the same thing in there twice, so we can't discern that one. The largest industry was technology and communications, so I'm guessing it was B2B. Yeah, followed by B2B products. Okay, so that's probably right. Mostly the respondents came from small companies with annual revenues of 25 million or less, 56%. So that's probably why they're not doing mail, because you know you'd have to commit most of your marketing budget to getting enough to be statistically significant to know what's going on. Okay, so why mail? And I wrote this, got published by A&A a month ago, not even, and you might have heard about it. And I was pondering the AI problem. Gartner, according to industry publications, back in about 2017, predicted that half of finance AI projects will be delayed or canceled by 2024. So half of them will fail completely. Okay, and this wasn't in 2017 they had a prediction, but this was another article, and I have the link for the article. Okay, this was from 2022, so it hasn't really changed dramatically. And so I started pondering why AI could work in mail, which gives you some idea of the power of mail that you're probably not tapping into. So anyway, this is a little bit of history. We're going to skip all this. But according to the AI study, Gartner AI study, how is it that we could achieve massive success with machine learning while others saw only failure? I thought about that for 3 years. And then I figured it out. The reason we could do machine learning was connected to the medium of direct mail marketing. You got that? Direct mail has something baked in. We know who we advertise to. We also know that the mail is delivered to a decision maker, and direct mail forces a decision because direct mail does not throw itself away. Play that back if you didn't catch it, okay? And so we know who the engaged non-buyer is. No other medium knows the engaged non-buyer, the person that was actually paying attention but didn't respond. They know the responders, but they don't know who was in front of the TV or not, or in front of the monitor or not, or paying attention or not. They don't know, they don't have an embedded decision because all other media throws itself away. So there's a billboard and it's big as life, but you're looking at your speedometer, or you're playing with your cell phone, or something happens, yelling at the kids in the back seat, and you just don't see it. Plus, we don't know who you are. You're driving by, unknown. That is the way media works. And I don't care if it's digital or TV or cable or trackable or whatever, okay? And that pairing, it's called a labeled data set, is required for AI. Who looked at it and bought, who looked at it and didn't buy. Direct mail has a built-in labeled data set. Not only are the buyers known, but also the households who saw, engaged, and decided not to buy. No other media can claim to know the engaged non-buyers. Direct mail may be slow, expensive, difficult, but is the most cutting-edge medium for discovering who your real customers are and what makes them buy. So before you spend millions or tens of millions to explore AI, or just go with social media and email because it's cool and the cool kids do it, understand that without direct mail, it's nearly impossible to achieve ROI and to understand why, which is the more important thing. The other thing is that if you do some mail, and by doing some mail, I mean put a couple of 100,000 pieces in the mail, because for statistical validity, that's a good place to start. 100,000, 200. We used to, in the 80s, tell people we wouldn't work with you unless you put 250,000 pieces in the mail day one. Okay, and those were $25 million companies. They were big companies. They were huge companies. Okay, so doing that can then fuel your other media choices, because now you start to know who your buyer is, and you let the market tell you, not just some survey, not just some third-party cookies, etc. Okay. So lastly, I want to talk about exclamation points from Craig Huey. I think I may have covered this before, but I keep skipping it, so I'm not sure. He says, too many exclamation points make your copy sound cheesy, or even worse, unbelievable. So the wrong way to write the headline is easy to understand. You even get email contacts. Email contacts aren't that valuable, so he says you should say, you even get email contacts, right? That's the right way to do it, okay? Easy to understand, you even get email contacts. The wrong way is the secret to a crash-proof portfolio, and that's a big claim, crash-proof portfolio. So it doesn't belong there. So he says write it without the exclamation point. Products that are serious in nature, like financial products, as well as luxury items that are expensive, will rarely use exclamation points in print advertising. You can increase credibility and response if you use the marks right. You can decrease credibility and response if you use exclamation parts wrongly, I think it should be, because use is being modified, I think. An adjective goes with a verb. Anyway, but also should have added test, 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 because obviously it depends on the offer and it depends on the market. And that, I was surprised, was left out by Craig Huey. Anyway, have a great day. Like and repost. Don't forget the articles. Both of these articles, all three, I'll be over in WDMA.org in just a few minutes. right? Thank you for those reposts. Let's see if did anybody chat. Oops, when I reset it, Slack, David Foley says, was the name of it. Not Stack. Anyway, thanks for that, David. Be sure to check out David's direct marketing newsletter because he has a lot of good tips on direct mail. I just got mine in the mail yesterday, but I haven't read it yet. Have a great day. Like and post your